In this video, I'm going to tell you a personal story of how purchasing this exact camera in 2018 has changed my and my wife's life. So if you're currently thinking about purchasing a camera, I highly recommend you to stick around. So in 2018, my son Nikita was born, and I decided that I wanted to purchase a camera to be able to capture photos and videos of my son and his childhood moments. I watched hundreds of videos on YouTube to decide which camera I needed. And at that time, there was a lot of hype about this camera, Sony A7 Mark III. Pretty much every single YouTuber in photography space was talking about this camera and how great it is for taking both photos and videos. But it was really expensive at that time, and I didn't know if I wanted to spend that much money on something that I wasn't sure is going to stick with me. So it was a big investment and big decision that I needed to take. And in the end, I decided, okay, I'm going to purchase this exact camera because I wanted something that I could use for quite a while, not just for a little bit of time. So I purchased this camera, and after that I started to learn photography. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know what aperture, ISO, shutter speed is. I didn't know anything about composition, color theory, or any of those things. I started watching different videos on YouTube, reading different articles, even purchased a number of photography books. And after a while, I kind of understood the theory, but I really lacked practical experience. So I decided to take my camera with me anywhere I went. I started taking many photos of my son, of my wife, of my friends, of things on the street when we've been walking around with my wife and my son. So after I started feeling quite confident using my camera, I decided to explore different photography genres, such as street photography, landscape photography, and commercial product photography. And I still remember how one day I was taking photos of different leather accessories and leather products at home for one of the projects that I was involved with at that time. And my wife, Alina, saw the behind-the-scenes process, and she saw the final images that I took because my camera was connected to my laptop using the tethering cord. And she really got interested in this commercial product photography. And after a day or two, she asked me if I could teach her photography so that she could also try to take similar style photos. And it was quite interesting to me, and I was like, okay, no problem, I can probably teach you, because I knew quite a few things about photography at the time already. And so I've started to teach her the basics of photography, like exposure triangle, ISO, shutter speed, aperture. And after a while, she started to actually take pretty decent photos. And after that, I remember I've purchased a online course for my wife about commercial product photography, about how to use the external light. She started to take this online course. I saw the actual process of how my wife Alina was growing rapidly in this commercial product photography field. And so, long story short, she's now a professional product photographer. She has her own studio. Actually, I'm currently recording this particular video in her product photography studio. She's working with hundreds of different clients all over the world, and I'm really proud of her that she found something that she's truly in love with. She really enjoys taking photos. She really enjoys building all these nice compositions and everything. So by purchasing this exact camera in 2018, it has essentially changed the trajectory of life for my wife, and it changed my life as well. So one day I was sitting at my office, and an idea came to my mind that I wanted to start a blog. In fact, I had this idea for at least 6 years prior to that, but I never started a blog because I thought that I don't have good enough knowledge in any field in particular to share anything with the world. But this time around, I thought that I could actually start a blog about photography and share my knowledge, my results and photos that I was taking at that time with the world, because they were actually pretty good. So that day, I decided to take the first step into launching my photography blog, and I decided to come up with the name and register a domain name for my future blog. Long story short, after about a week or so, I had the working website already. I've set up WordPress, I purchased the domain name, I picked a theme to install on my website, and it was essentially ready for me to publish my first article. At that time, I was thinking that I'm going to write primarily about commercial product photography because it was something I was really into at that time, and I was taking quite a lot of photos for my leather accessories project, and my wife was already taking quite a lot of photos in product photography as well. So I was thinking that I could share these photos and some tutorials about product photography on this blog. And so I started writing my first couple of articles. I never knew that writing articles in this particular field would be so much fun. And after a while, I decided to actually step outside of commercial product photography and start writing about photography in general. So I expanded my blog into different categories such as portrait photography, because I was really into taking portrait photos as well of my son, of my wife, of my friends. I started writing articles about travel photography as well, because I was taking my camera with me when we were traveling. I was taking a lot of photos, sharing them with the world on social media, on Reddit, and I was getting a lot of positive feedback from my friends and people in general on Reddit and other social medias where I was sharing my photos. And so I kept going, I kept on writing different articles, and I have written probably around 130 or 150 articles on my OHMYCAMERA.com blog. I've started a YouTube channel that you are currently watching. So this is the story of how this exact camera has changed my wife's and my life for the better. And I hope that this video is quite motivating for you. And if you are currently thinking about purchasing a camera, I highly recommend you to get a camera and see if it's going to change your life as well. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.